Welcome to Off the Court, a show dedicated to making you the best version of yourself as a player and as a person. I'm Coach Jack, CEO and owner of Close the Gate Hoops. If you're trying to take your life and game to the next level, this is the podcast for you. Let's get it. We are live. What up, Gatekeepers? Back at you with another episode of Off the Court. Today we have a super interesting and intellectually challenging topic, defining lucky. Okay, and this is a topic that I'm extremely excited for on both sides of basketball and life. And what I mean by this, in terms of life, what we're going to be doing is, lucky is one of those terms, again, that's kind of relative and depends on who you're talking to, on what they think luck is, and a lot of it depends on the environment that that person grew up in. But in terms of the basketball side of what lucky means, the hot hand is one of those mysterious kinds of things in terms of basketball that not a lot of people know a lot of information about and how to tap into that hot hand more. And we're going to go a lot more in depth with that. And someone who's speaking from experience, the hot hand is probably one of my best traits as a basketball player, because I can find myself getting into that zone a lot more than the average person. So we're going to go around and talk about that a lot. First, I'll start, Aaron, but I'll talk about kind of what my definition of lucky is, and we can go around to Coach Aaron and Coach Connor as well, and then we'll kind of just debate about it. To me personally, I do not think luck exists. And there's definitely people out there that are not going to agree with this opinion. And again, we're not doing this podcast to change your mind on every little thing that's ever been discovered about how to improve your life. We're just trying to plant seeds and make you think about two sides of the coin, because it's always better to get other people's opinions. The reason I don't think luck is real is I think people make their own luck. And what I mean by this is, the more and more you work for something and the more you try to improve yourself, more opportunities are brought to you from yourself working on those things. And those opportunities that are created from you working so hard are what most people would call lucky, which is where I think people get it wrong a lot of times, because they don't see all the things that happen behind the scenes that brings all this person, the stereotypical kind of success that we talked about in a previous podcast. Mm-hmm. But to me, it's a combination of your work ethic, like I talk about all the time, and your knowledge, your studying of whatever you're trying to work at, combined with that work ethic, and then the persistence to never stop and to never give up. Those three things equate to opportunities, which is what most people call lucky to me. So that's how I would define lucky. Aaron, what do you think about that? And what do you think lucky means to you?
So my outlook on luck is that being lucky is completely relative to what your mindset is, because, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, that you can basically reframe anything to make positive, and everything happens for a reason. So, I mean, if something bad happens to someone might consider themselves lucky because that happened to them, and they can change from that, rather than someone who's like, oh, I'm so unlucky this happened to me. Why did this happen to me? So it's, in my opinion, it's all about just what your outlook on life is.
You can almost use the word lucky negatively towards people, like to downgrade some people's successes. You'll be like, yeah, that person's super lucky.
Yeah, it's almost like you're like delegitimizing what they've accomplished, if that makes sense. But like, and I see that all the time. Like, people like will say that about other people, and you don't have any idea what's going on in their lives, so you can't really say that. But yeah. So another thing, like, kind of goes along with what Jack talks about. I agree with a lot of what Jack said, but lucky people are willing to take these risks. I say lucky in quotations, but lucky people are willing to take certain risks. And then once these risks become successful, because I think you have to take a lot of risks to become successful. And when those risks actually turn out in their favor, people look at them like they're lucky. But in reality, you got to be if you want to be successful, you got to take those risks. So they're not necessarily lucky. They're just, they know what they're doing, and they know what they're willing, or what they're capable of.
Well, and the more you risk, obviously, the more you fail. And we know the more a person fails, the more likely they're going to be turn out to that successful figure. But what you were saying is they don't see all the failure. They just see that one point of triumph. So how can you say that person's so-and-so called lucky when you haven't seen everything else that went into it before?
Exactly. And I think a lot of people's definition of luck now is like as a kind of supernatural kind of thing, like that it's fate, or like that people kind of like, some people are lucky, some people aren't. Like, that's just how it is. But in my opinion, it's just not how it is at all. It's all about your mindset, all about how you're thinking and what your outlook on certain things are.
100%. And you can change the outcome of your life at literally any moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I could pack up and leave and move to Australia or something.
Yep.
A completely different path.
Yeah. And that's what I was reading something about. That's kind of like I'm a Christian, but I was reading something about a Buddhist, like what they think. And that's their whole thing about their religion, is that they know that they have complete control over their lives. And that's why they don't necessarily believe luck is real, but they believe that you can create your own luck, or like that you are in control of that. But yeah, I was reading this article when we started talking about this topic, and it's like there was like certain things to become lucky, and you have to be super resilient, super you're willing to change. You know that change is going to happen, because lucky people, they have something happen to them and they adapt to it quickly, or like they change their lives and they make it so they can better themselves because of that. Because life is extremely malleable, like it's always changing. Nothing is really ever constant, and lucky people know that. They expect it, they're ready for it, and they're not like scared to change. They can make it into something better for themselves, and then people just see them as lucky because they're able to do that.
And the two words you used right there, Aaron, was resilience and change. And both of those things are in your control. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, that confirms my definition of it. Since you're in control of both of those things, you would therefore create your own luck. Mm-hmm. It's not there. You manifested it.
Absolutely.
So what I'm getting at is you also believe that luck doesn't exist.
I do not believe. I believe that not in the way that it's usually defined. Okay. I think you can create your own luck. But
yeah. So
metaphorically,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. But not something where. How is luck defined? Actually, let's Google it.
I'm pretty sure luck is like, people think of it as like a supernatural thing where some people are just have good things happen to them without having any type of control or skill.
Yeah. So this is the definition of luck on Google: success or failure apparently brought by chance rather than through one's own actions.
Right.
So I definitely don't agree with that statement.
No, that could happen, but it's not like some people are lucky and some people just aren't lucky.
But the reason that so-and-so called by chance happened is because the person brought themselves that opportunity in the first place.
That's true. Like if you think about it, like someone wins the lottery, they're like, oh, you're so lucky, but they had to go buy that lottery ticket. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. We're not saying. So yes. How would you define something like winning the lottery? Obviously, there's a very small chance of that happening. Mm-hmm. But there were actions and reasons for the process of them getting to that moment of buying the lottery ticket.
Yes. But are they necessarily, it's not.
Gosh, that's hard.
So we're saying that it's not necessarily like you have to be bettering your life to become lucky.
And, well, how can you say this person, because say they did get all this money, right? But they didn't get it how they were supposed to. So they won the lottery, but they have no idea how to manage the money.
Right.
So how can you say this person's lucky if they're just going to lose it?
But are they necessarily going to lose it right away?
Well, no, I'm not saying that. But majority of the lottery stories you hear,
I have heard that
they just spend all their money.
Yeah. Well, and think about it. You're like changing your life completely, and like that's just a huge thing. Like you're just like, it's a complete change in your life. Like, do you necessarily want that right away? Like,
that's hard. Winning the lottery is hard. That's a hard one to talk about.
All right, let's have Connor give his definition of what he thinks luck is.
I don't think luck like exists, or I'm agreeing with both of you. I think luck's more of like a state of mind, and the word luck and lucky is used by people more negative towards people than positive. Would you guys agree?
I would agree. If you have a lot of money and you're doing a lot of things that most people would want to do, you're considered lucky.
Yeah, just to add on to that, I was just going to say that like people who don't think they're as lucky as people who are wealthy or better than basketball at them or skilled in anything in life, pretty much the person who's not as skilled or better than the person better than them.
I know what you're saying. The accuser, right? The person that's accusing.
They accuse them of being lucky.
Yeah.
So it's
But they didn't see all the stuff that happened for them to get there. Aaron said earlier, there's a reason for everything that happens, right? So yes, some people are gifted with more athletic ability than others, but there was a reason for that happening. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they're lucky, right? Because someone that's gifted athletically, most of the times is going to not get that work ethic as fast as someone who's not gifted athletically, right? Because then you got to work much harder for it. So how can you say that person's lucky when now they have more athleticism but less work ethic, and the person with less athleticism has more work ethic? You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I agree. I'm just saying, like, in general terms, if someone's better than you at basketball, like, and
Or they make a crazy shot. Like, I get this all the time.
That's lucky. Like, that's what you hear, and I mean, that's the norm in my opinion.
If you consistently make tough shots, how can you say that's lucky? That's the same thing as you consistently making a layup, right?
Yes, but not. Some people don't consistently make tough shots. They just
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if someone consistently makes tough shots, how can you say the shots that he's making are lucky?
That's absolutely not lucky. But one thing I was gonna say, the example, because there's two sides of everything, right? Like the example, like I always think of is when people say he was born into a family with a lot of money, he's super lucky, but and then this kid grows up with no work ethic, never had to do anything in his life, and now he's screwed because he doesn't know how to fend for himself. You know, there's two sides of everything. You know, he grew when he was a kid. I'm sure he had a great life, ate good, got everything he wanted, but then when he gets out into the real world, he doesn't know what to do. You know,
so you could almost consider that unlucky by most people's terms.
Yes. If you think about it in that way, but most people don't think about it in that way. They don't think long term. But yeah, I mean, there's two sides of everything. There's a negative and a positive side to almost everything you can think of, and it's all about your positive mindset. Like I said, it's all about how you think of things. And if you want to consider yourself lucky, then you'll be lucky. And
I truly believe that you can manifest your own destiny. Meaning, like, if you wanted to have a lot of money, you could go out there and get that. It's extremely attainable, more attainable than people think, mainly through the stock market. Our example is making it pro. I don't care how unathletic you are. You can research. There's so much research that's coming out, and the ways to improve are evolving, making it quicker the smarter that you are. If you worked your entire life to get to the NBA, I believe you could get to the NBA. Yes, you might get to the NBA when you're like 30 because it took you that long to get there. But I truly believe that if you want to be somewhere, you can definitely get there. It doesn't matter what it is.
The more and more I've gotten older, the more, because when I was little, I looked at like celebrities as like just these higher human beings. Like they were untouchable, like these like unreachable, like these people are just always going to be the elite, and I'm always going to be down here. But like the more and more I've grown up and the more I've thought about it, like these people were literally just normal people like everybody else, and they knew it was attainable. Like it's attainable to every single person, right? You've heard a lot of celebrities have had some terrible like upbringings, right? But like it's attainable from everybody, and people just think that they're like lucky and these elite people, but like they don't understand that you really could do that. Like you're in control of if you're gonna do that or not.
I think a good example for a lot of the younger listeners is all these famous TikTokers.
Yeah,
right. It's become a lot easier to become more global through TikTok, in my opinion, and reaching more people. Like look at most famous TikToker Charli D'Amelio. What do you think she was a year ago? Like how do you think she was living her life? Probably very, very normal and very similar to what normal high school girls go through. Yeah. Right. And now she's extremely famous. So I think that's a good point of how we can't view these celebrities and people with a lot of money above us.
Right. Because like, I mean, you can like, if you go watch like some of the people that got famous on TikTok, it's like how they're not, it's not like they're a better like, it's not like they're a better person than you. Like, it's not like they're above you, you know? It's just like they were able to, and they knew they could do it, you know?
I mean, and that's another thing too. It's not like they didn't do any research on how to become famous on TikTok. Right. I'm sure at some point they learned how to get more reach, how to become more global. Yeah. But people are like, oh, she blew up a bunch of times. You know, she's famous for no reason.
So lucky.
That's not necessarily the case at all, in my personal opinion, because you don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. They were in control of it because they knew what they were doing. You know, like it's like people look at Addison Rae, say she has no talent. She got really lucky that she's famous, but like I can guarantee you that she was in control of what she was doing the whole time.
Another good example is our TikTok. Like, we have 31,000 followers for Close the Gate. That didn't just happen for no reason. The best way to become famous on social media is consistently posting good valued content, right? And that's what we do at Close the Gate. We post 2 drills a day that people want to see each day, and that's why we consistently gain followers.
So I just have a question for you guys. If you blow up on one TikTok, not multiple, is that luck?
Well, no, because to get to that point, you're saying like you just post one TikTok?
Say you've posted TikTok, you've had TikTok, you like to post on it. Say you have 60 posts, but only one of those have blown up, but your account hasn't blown up, just the video. Is that luck or not?
I guess what's the purpose of it? Like, what's the point? Like, because for us to get more views is that we'll gain more followers, right? So if you have one video blow up, what's the purpose if you're not going to use it?
If it was a quality video, then no.
I mean, I guess that's hard to say because most of the time, if it's a one-hit wonder, I'm sure a bunch of thought went in the video. Like, a lot of one-hit wonders are like those crazy trick shot videos or like some TikTok that probably took like hours to make, right? So there obviously was a lot of work that went into it.
I understand the like objective view of luck, like, you know, like winning the lottery. I understand the objective.
That one's hard for me.
I understand the objective, how you could see that as lucky, because not a lot of people win the lottery, obviously, and you're there's like a 1 in very little chance or whatever, but it's still like you're in control of what you're doing the whole time.
But it's similar to what you said earlier, Aaron, on like a child that is grown up with a lot of money, right? Well, then he doesn't have this work ethic. Same thing with winning the lottery, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you're not going to get now that you have all this money.
Yeah, and money's not necessarily the ultimate definer of success. And most people think to be lucky, you have to be successful or whatever. You have to have successes. And again, there's 2 sides of the coin to every single thing. So like, it's not necessarily lucky or unlucky that someone were to win the lottery, you know? It could be unlucky. There's probably unlucky parts of it. There's probably lucky parts of it. If that makes sense.
No, I agree. The lottery one trips me up a little bit, but I still believe that, you know, you make your own luck.
Yeah, there's a ton of examples you could think of that, but I totally understand how the objective view of luck is like, it makes sense. Like, people are like, oh, he's lucky, he just won the lottery, or he's lucky to be alive after something, or something, you know, things like that. But like, it's always, I don't know. I don't really know how to explain
if
it.
you look at the definition, it's success or failure apparently brought by chance rather than through one's own actions. So to me, luck would define the lottery. That definition of luck.
Yeah.
Right? Because by chance, success or failure. But success and failure is relative. I mean, to me, if I actually thought about it, people would say I'm crazy for wanting to win the lottery. Okay, maybe that's stupid. I would definitely want to win the lottery.
Yeah. This is bent in my mind, dude. It's kind
yeah, that's hard. It's hard because, well, it depends on whatever your view of success is. If success is to have a lot of money, then you would consider winning the lottery luck, right? Because you just bought a card and you won a bunch of money.
So if you're talking in terms of lottery, you have a better chance of getting, what do they say, struck by lightning like 5-10 times before you win the lottery or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So if you're, in terms of odds, is having those high of odds lucky if you win?
I mean, it depends on the action. I guess I should reframe. It depends on the action. So I should reframe what my definition is. Anything that you put, like the 3 big things that I said. So I guess my definition was semi-right. So any of the 3 things, if you put the work in, the knowledge in, the studying, and the persistence to get to whatever your end goal or to what people are calling so-and-so called lucky, that's not luck. But say you literally did nothing, or there's no reason you went and bought that lottery ticket. There's no work of amount. Say you grinded to get that $1 lottery ticket. Well, then... Gosh, this is hard, bro.
It's circumstantial.
This is hard.
No, here's what it is. It's circumstantial, dude. Because, like, is getting struck by lightning unlucky? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. You walk outside.
Yes, you can. What if you're...
What?
Yes, you can. What if you're holding a baseball bat up in the air?
Well, then you're just stupid if you walk outside with a baseball bat.
That's good, Connor. That's a good way to think about it. So a lot.
Are you unlucky if you're holding a 30-foot metal pole in the air while it's storming out?
No, you're an idiot. That's not. That's.
So what I'm getting at is a lot of it depends on what you do before the action, right? Or the outcome.
Right.
The pre-actions before the outcome is what could make you lucky or unlucky.
Okay.
I think that's a better definition, right? If you buy a lottery ticket, you didn't have to do working hard, working smart, or persistency to get that money, right? Unless, what if you bought like 1 million
Maybe.
lottery tickets?
That's just.
What if you bought a bunch of lottery
That's
tickets?
why I'm saying it's.
then that's persistence.
That's why
You're
I'm
putting
saying
in the
it's
work.
Completely relative. There's definitely luck objectively is a thing, but you can see both sides of the coin for every single thing that happens.
In terms
That's
of
what I think.
In terms of manifesting your own destiny, though, luck doesn't exist.
Yes. No, I agree with that.
It's a hard thing to define, but most cases, 99% of cases, luck does not exist. That's my statement.
Well, in most cases, like luck is used so loosely, the word luck, because a lot of times people don't take into account what came before the actual thing that people think is lucky.
Exactly. So the pre-action.
Yes. People say what's a common example of people say that's lucky? Like like a hole in one in golf or something. Like if I saw Connor hit a hole in one in golf, I'd probably be like, that's so lucky. But like I don't know how many times he shot at this hole, how many times has he seen this, how many times has he tried to hit a hole in one on this hole, you know? It's like he's probably put in, like, you know, we play golf a lot, you know, he's probably put in work, but even if I saw that, I would still be like, that's so lucky.
Yeah, exactly. So like so luck is 99% of people use it as a negative term, which is kind of sad. The more and more we've had this conversation, pre-action is the direct correlation to luck. What if I've never played golf before and I hit a hole in one?
Then
You're extremely lucky, right? Yeah. So there was no pre-action. So when there's no pre-action for whatever your outcome is, listen. Okay, this is my definition. When there's no pre-action to whatever the outcome is, with the three things that I said, the hard work, persistency, and working smart, then it's luck if there was no pre-action. But if there was pre-action of those three things, then I don't believe luck exists.
How do you define pre-action?
That's what I said, those three things, right? You're working hard, you're working smart, and you're persistent with what you're doing.
Okay, but what if I'm doing something completely unrelated that leads to me getting a hole in one in golf? What if I was a good, like, croquet player or something before? Is that
okay? No.
Definition?
It has to be relative to whatever the outcome is. Right?
Yes,
if I'm working really hard at tennis, and I guess that's not a good example. Like you were saying.
No. If you're practicing and working hard at tennis and you hit a hole in one in golf, there's no direct correlation to that.
Okay, yeah, but there's other things that could be. Like what if I was like,
there's got to be a correlation from pre-action to.
Yes, I understand. And so but say this. What if like I lifted weights pretty consistently before I went golfing, and like if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to get it all the way to the hole or something. Like that doesn't necessarily look like it'd be correlated, but it is. Like it could be.
Weightlifting's most of the time viewed as correlated to sports.
I guess. But like you wouldn't think about that. Like if I hit a hole in one, I wouldn't be like, God, thank God I lifted all those weights, you know?
I know. No. I mean, most golfers aren't lifters, are they?
Probably not.
Very few.
I mean, Phil Mickelson's 60, 50, how old is he? 57. He just won. I don't think he's lifting weights. He's probably golfing all the time.
This is a mind bender.
I like this podcast, dude. My brain hurts right now, though.
I mean, because like what we're gonna get into the basketball side now is the hot hand, and this is something that I definitely have been known for as a shooter, is my ability to kind of get unconscious sometimes. Aaron, you definitely have this at points too. As a shooter, sometimes it's almost like that person can't miss. A good example of this is Klay Thompson when he had 37 in one quarter. You can't tell me the hot hand doesn't exist. It 100% exists. The other side of the coin is people say that it's the same chance as every other shot for it to go in. He just made a lot in a row. Well, if you did the math for Klay Thompson to score that 37 and however many shots he hit in a row, it was like one in every person in the world or some crazy statistic, like improbable. It's like 0 to the -1 power. So it means like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, won. Like there's literally no chance. But that's because he was in the state of mind or the flow state or the zone state where he had no thought with his action, therefore resulting in every shot going in.
Exactly. So it's absolutely not luck.
No.
It's all mindset.
Yes.
Which was like my first definition of luck. It kind of changed after we talked about it. But
no, mine changed too.
No, it's like I would love to see, because it's all mindset. So like if you're in a good state of mind, if you think it's going to go in, it's more likely to go in. So I would love to see what the percentage of like a 3-point percentage in the NBA after they had just made their last shot.
Yeah.
I want to know what that statistic would be, because I bet their percentage would be higher.
Oh, for sure. Or like their first shot of the game. I bet
Yeah.
you it's crazy difference.
Yeah.
But another good example is, I think I've talked about this before. I went like one time I was doing a 3-point competition and I was being funny and I shot lefty. I shot like 5 for 8, but I didn't put any reps into those lefty shots. So how can you tell me that reps are the only thing that equate to becoming a shooter? To me, it's literally all mindset. Yes, reps come into a play to a certain extent, but at some point reps don't matter even close to as much as mindset. And that's why we like to meditate at Close the Gate. Meditation is the #1 key to learn how to get in that flow state. And I'm sure that this is kind of why I personally want to major in psychology, so I can learn more about the flow state or being in that zone, so that I can just literally stay in the zone the whole game. Because eventually I think there'll be a way that you can crack that code to a point where everyone can acquire it.
Yeah. No, I think I completely agree. Hot hand is like, it's completely real, and it's all about your mindset and getting into that state of mind where you just kind of go unconscious. And you like you.
It's like sleepwalking.
Yeah. And there's obviously the opposite side of the spectrum too, because when you start to get into your own head after you've missed a couple shots, you can't make one. Unless you get out of that state.
It's the same thing. Like when someone goes cold, like being cold is definitely real. It's just your mindset is thinking about every movement you do, and when you're in the hot hand, it's the complete opposite. You're not thinking about literally any movement you do.
Yeah.
So I definitely believe in the hot hand, and that's something Close the Gate's going to do in the future. That's probably one of my #1 goals as a player as well, is unlocking the part of our brain that makes that happen so that we can make it happen almost every time.
I have a question. What do you guys think of karma?
I mean, so that's similar to luck. I mean,
Yeah.
This is a whole new topic.
No, it's not. It's like
dude,
the same thing.
It's very similar.
Good though.
It's very similar.
Listen. Karma, bad things follow bad people. Like the reason that's happening is because they were doing bad things in the first place, right? So it's the same thing. Opportunities are occurring because of them doing those bad things. And that those opportunities, those negative opportunities, are what people call karma.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It's
like the flip side of luck.
Yeah. The way I think about it is that if you're doing good things, you're in a better positive mental state, and you're going to think of yourself as more lucky, and you're going to think of things happening to you as better, if that makes sense. And and it's the opposite thing, if you're doing things that aren't good, and you're obviously, your brain is probably going to feel guilt, things like that, and you're not going to be in a good mindset, and you're going to think that unlucky things are happening to you.
So perception is reality.
Yes, exactly. Perception is definitely reality.
I would agree with that statement for sure.
If you have a positive mindset, you will be lucky.
And it's the same. It's like it's honestly exactly perception is reality. It's like placebo. Like the second karma gets into your head, then your perception is the karma, right? So then the reality becomes that.
Yeah. It's crazy how your brain can just like
flip everything.
Yeah.
Can literally flip everything. It's all about how you think about it.
I still think, dude, that like luck is like completely relative. Like it does. Luck's not like, it's not real, dude. It's like completely what you think. Your brain has complete control over it. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with it being a state of mind.
You could somehow, I guarantee you could reframe getting struck by lightning into a positive thing. It'd be very difficult, but somehow you could.
For sure. You could definitely.
Yeah. I don't know how to right now. I could think of it, but like.
Well, what if they survive and then they start this foundation, right, of people that are paralyzed or can't walk or something of that nature.
Exactly.
But is that a correlation
What do you mean?
to getting struck by lightning?
Could be, yeah, for sure.
The whole reason he's in a wheelchair is because he was struck by lightning.
For sure.
You said he was alive. You didn't say.
Okay, well, if he died, then that affects all his family members. The family members can then take his death as motivation to become better people and then influence more people.
everything, bro, you could turn into a positive light. Literally everything.
That's what I'm saying. And how can you say it's unlucky for the person? What if they went to heaven? That's not unlucky.
Yep.
So yeah, luck is basically at all your frame of mind.
No,
Start,
my
like,
my
living.
definition has not changed. It's the same. I've changed my mind again. That my definition stays the same. It's
What's
all
your
about your frame of mind.
Yeah.
Because you can turn anything into something.
Well, so is luck real or not?
Objectively, maybe. Like you could say,
Okay, if it's all your frame of mind,
it is.
then is my imaginary friend real or not?
What?
If he's in my frame of mind, right? This person standing right next to me, you
Yeah.
can't see them.
Okay.
So is he real or not?
No.
So this is where it gets a little complicated.
Nothing to do with luck.
Yeah, no, we're talking about the frame of mind. That's what I'm trying to say. So I asked him if it was real or not, and you said yes.
But there's still reality. There's
Yes,
no
so-
one sitting right
yes,
there,
that's
dude.
what that's what real is, right? It's reality or not real. So is luck real or not? And you said yes. And if it's your frame of mind, that's what I was trying to get at, right? My frame of mind is that there's nobody right,
Okay.
or that there's someone right here.
Luck is real. But it's all about your frame of mind. Like you can make yourself lucky
Yeah. So you
in
manifest your
quotations
own luck.
quotations by what you do. Yeah.
We started this with a clear definition of what luck is, and now we don't even know ourselves.
No, it's I know my definition.
I'm honestly gonna stick with mine. Is that you make your own luck?
You do. And it's all my opinion, it's all based on your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can reframe anything to be, in quotations, lucky or unlucky.
I'm actually glad it turned into a debate. I was just being devil's advocate there with my frame of mind.
I know, but oh, dude, my brain hurts. Connor, what do you got to say? Last words about luck?
I just agree with both you. I don't think luck, it's real, but it's a state of mind. It's super general, I guess.
Yeah, so you basically, perception is reality. You manifest your own destiny. Personally, we ask all of you gatekeepers to stop using unlucky or lucky as a negative term and just go make your quotations luck yourselves, right? Go out there and make things happen. Everything is impossible until someone else does it. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
Before you call someone lucky, maybe take into account what has the pre-actions.
Everything that could have happened, right? Because I guarantee you there's a reason that you're contemplating it in the first place. Mm-hmm. Thanks again, gatekeepers. We'd love if you could respond to this episode maybe with your opinion on what luck is. And of course, any more other podcast topics that you want us to talk about, we'd love to take that into account. Thanks again, gatekeepers. Make sure you leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts. We're at 53 5-star reviews. I guarantee if we start to get a little more, we definitely will be ranked on some spectrum of Apple Podcasts, which would be extremely exciting. Thanks again, gatekeepers. I'm Coach Jack. This is Coach Connor, Coach Aaron. We out, baby. Peace. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Off the Court. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please don't forget to leave reviews if you haven't yet. This helps us with engagement and helps us rank higher to make an influence on more basketball lives. I also strongly encourage you guys to check out our free ebook download that's 25 pages long, How to Unlock the Mental Side of the Game. I was a player that was constantly grinding and constantly working, and it was really hard for me not to see results from the amount of work I was putting in. But this ebook that I wrote dives exactly into those types of questions. I was completely ignoring the most important part of basketball, which is the mental side of the game. So the 25-page ebook that I wrote is for you guys to give yourselves a leg up on your competition and almost like a secret weapon. I call it the basketball cheat code. Also, check out our website, ctghoops.com. On there, we got tons of programs that you guys can download to make yourselves a better basketball player. We have the CTG Productivity Notebook, helping you guys become addicted to productivity. Of course, in-person training. We are located now in multiple cities. And then we have the CTG blog, free education on becoming your best basketball self. Lastly, follow all our social media pages at CTG Hoops, where we post multiple times a day, trying to make you the best player and person that you can be. All the links for these are down in the description below. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys check out all the other episodes of Off the Court, and make sure you're ready for next week's episode. I'm Coach Jack. We out, baby. Peace.